So hello everyone, welcome to this week's YouTube video. Hopefully you're going to find this one useful and interesting. This is something that I've been pondering for a little while, and it's something that I really need your help. And it's something some of you follow me on LinkedIn and that have already got involved, which is great. But this week I want to talk about the evolution of S1000D IETPs, and have we truly do we continue to evolve and innovate, or have we kind of stagnated, is where I'm going with this video here. And at the end of the video I'm going to tell you how you can help me and how we can together, I hope, make some changes in the market and maybe help drive some of the messaging changes that are needed in the world of technical publications. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But there's no denying we've come a long way from the days of bulky printed manuals. Swinging a lantern, pull up a sandbag. In the old days, we used to just pull up all the old technical manuals that we needed, and they would be in different volumes and different types of manuals, and we'd have to learn how to navigate those. The idea was, the vision was that we were going to stop that, and we were going to take all of these technical manuals and we were going to turn them into something that we could put on screen. Okay, and in the early days, of course, it was PDF, and then we started to migrate over to more bespoke or targeted viewers, S1000D viewers. And but the question is, have we done anything beyond that today? And that's where I'm going with this, because I want to dig a little bit deeper into this kind of philosophical question. And so what got me thinking about this? Well, I'm supporting a few of you right now identify, well, a couple of them are not specifically just S1000D IETPs, but the IETP solutions are a consideration of our wider discussion. And I recently delivered a webinar that was sponsored by RWS. I'll put a link down below. You can go and watch that and download a white paper. And we talked about the emerging role, or the wider role of the S1000D IETP solution, and why it's becoming critical for a sensible or a more robust integrated product support deployment. And so we talked about that. But why this kind of thought piece, if you like, is that something that was really interesting that came out of that is, at the end of the webinar, I asked a series of questions, and one of them was kind of how do you perceive the IETP, the S1000D IETP, on your project or in your organization? And the answers were really interesting, and it aligns with some of the customers that I'm supporting right now, where the IETP is still basically seen as nothing more than a posh technical publication, just something that we bang on screen and we give it to our maintainers and to our operators and say, there you go, look at that innovative way of looking at your technical publication. So this got me thinking. That got my inquisitive mind came out, because of course when we first started doing IETP solutions, and this was a long time ago, over 2 decades ago, I'm not going to talk about the specific projects that I worked on, or indeed the particular developments that we were involved with. But I remember when we first did our very initial S1000D IETP solution, we'd been delivering PDFs up to our customer for a long time, and they, in the main, were quite happy with it. And we then went down this IETP solution, and we were solving a problem that our customer didn't really know that they had. And so we came up with this IETP solution, and we paraded it around the office like we just split the tech pub's atom. And it was something that we in the technical publications arena got very excited about. And we thought we were solving a wider problem, where we'd already gone from paper to pixels, but now we were going to IETP. And and we thought the customer would get super happy about it. Now, of course, when they first saw it, they thought, wow, bells and whistles, this looks fantastic. When indeed it really was nothing more than we'd just replaced the functionality of PDF in many instances, and made it a little bit more interactive, a little bit more searchable, a little bit more navigable for our customer. And at the time, for them, that was a revolution. But what we didn't really envisage is that deploying IETP solutions was actually going to introduce more problems for the customer, different problems for the customer. So, and that still is true today for many of us. So here's kind of where my question is coming from, based on this webinar, based on some conversations that I'm having, and kind of some soul searching that I'm having, is have we really changed from our old mindset of that it is nothing more than a technical publication? And, and if that's true for your organization, I'm not saying that, that it's a good opinion to have, or a good position to have, or a bad position to have. I just think that, we need to have a broader discussion to help change perception of, again, for the want of a better word, technical publications and the role of technical publications. So sure, we've seen improvements like hotspotting and linking and those kind of things. And, I'm still blown away by how many people get excited about hotspots, and they've been around forever. And, people, they see their data with hotspots and interactivity and they get super excited. And, but it's not that innovative. That's still, for me, that's stagnation. So we've been doing that forever. And the reality, the innovation lies in how we can revolutionize how the IETP is being used. So things like the process data module, interacting or through APIs, engaging with external systems, fault monitoring systems, maintenance management systems, etc. This is all possible through the S1000D IETP. And, the paper that I've written for RWS talks about some of this innovation. In fact, I've written 2 for them over the last couple of years, and you can get them from their website. You can go and download them. My excitement lies in the newer generations of S1000D IETPs. And I know that I've shared my generational IETP slide with some of you, and I've shared my IETP checklist with some of you. Some of the things that we should be asking of our vendors, some of the things that we should be cognizant of beyond features and functions. We need to have a good holistic understanding about what the IETP solution is, and how it's constructed and how we can deploy it. So we can really drive the way our maintainers and operators engage with the data, and can be more, should we say, efficient in the way that they perform their tasks. So whether we're doing, fault diagnostics, and how we can then track those, how the maintainer's working, how the data's performing, those kind of things, maybe connecting to sensors and fault reporting systems that can trigger an IETP solution. This is more innovative. This is more the future for the IETP solution. And I'm not even going to go down the how AI is going to change the way that we can work with IETP solutions in terms of, analytics, and then how that analytics will be used for updating, some of our maintenance schedules, etc. Spoiler alert, I'm working on some papers on that right now. So let's just be real for a second. For a lot of people, the S1000D IETP is still viewed as it was when I started out in technical publications all those years ago, as in nothing more than taking the old legacy way of doing things. We went from paper to pixel, and we just, we tried to turn it into something that was a little bit more engaging for the user, and in theory was more deployable and usable for the user. But in the main, in the early days, it was just nothing more than a fancy PDF with some nice functions and that wrapped around it. And if that's your want and that's your desire, then that's it. So but for many organizations that I support, that is it. They still think the IETP solution is nothing more than just the old legacy technical publication way of just taking it from the page and putting it on screen, adding some functions and features around it, whether it's hotspotting or linking or maybe some fault diagnostic trees or something along those lines, which is a little bit more innovative and is far more functional, but we can actually go much, much further. So this is where you guys come in. I have this, like I said, this got me kind of thinking and questioning, you know, the role of IETPs, the role of S1000D. Is it, you know, the most appropriate way for us to be doing technical publications going forward? And, you know, these are kind of soul searching questions that I'm trying to answer. And those of you who are involved in deploying S1000D IETP solutions, so I'm not talking to the vendor community here that actually make all of this happen. I'm talking to those of us that actually deploy. We field our S1000D IETP solutions. I'm undertaking a study on the opinion and perception of IETP solutions, S1000D IETP solutions, and or are there those of you out there who are truly innovating? Because after this webinar and some of the conversations I've been having with customers is that truly it's nothing more than a technical publication for some organizations. So we're spending all this time putting all this data together, and we're spending all this time, you know, making all this structure work, and we're really not leveraging it the way that we should be. And so I have put together a survey. The point of the survey is that ultimately I will produce a market report, and that market report will then be published, and we can then together, I hope, shape the way and the future of S1000D IETP solutions. So if you are involved in the deployment of IETP solutions, I'd like to hear from you, and so that you can have your say and your input onto or into this report. But as a thank you, because there has to be something in it for you, I will then invite you to a private webinar where we will look at some of the results of the paper and the study, and I will then give you a briefing on where I think IETP solutions are going in the future, and the not too distant future, I may add. So if you'd like to be involved with that and like to share your opinion, I'm not taking anything from you that is commercially sensitive. It's purely an opinion piece. So, what do you see the role of the technical publication in your organization? How do you, currently deploy the IETP and those kind of things? That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything else. So no state secrets or, intellectual property sharing or anything along those lines. These are all very high level kind of questions, just to kind of get a sense what's going on in the market. And that's all because you guys are telling me from feedback and conversations, these are your opinions. So I want to formalize a report that we can then take to the market and say, look, this is what the market is telling us. And that might shape the way that we do things in the future. Anyway, if you'd like to get involved, there's a link below to pre-register. It's a pre-register because what I'm doing is I'm filtering out the sales, the vendors, the consultants that would like to get access to it. I'm trying to keep this as pure and as clean as possible, so that I hear from those of you who are doing the in-service deployments of IETP solutions. So hopefully together we can push this forward. That's what I'm on about this week. That's what I want to talk about this week. Lots of stuff going on. So yeah, if you'd like to get involved, link down below.